What is up, you guys? That's Pro Football Talk back at it again. It is Monday. It's 6 o'clock, and the draft is next week, you guys. It is literally like less than 5 days away.
It's this week.
Yeah, bro. It's on Thursday.
Well, you guys, we talked about this. We're not going to do this live, okay? Just go along with it. If I'm wrong, just go along.
We will go along with it if you say the right things. You're embarrassing us, AJ.
It's that drink you're drinking, AJ.
It's horrible. Yeah, I've tried out this new Rockstar Zero Sugar. It's not new, but Rockstar's been around for a while, and it's horrible. I'm drinking straight syrup. That's what it is. I need to get that alpha brain. You know what I'm saying?
This is a great start to the podcast.
It is an awesome start to the podcast, man. The draft is this week. You know, less than 5 days away. I'm super pumped up. Hope you guys are super pumped up. Nestor, joining the podcast. Welcome as always. Nestor? Thank you so much for joining us live. We're back at it again, you guys. Guys, there's been some big talks about this draft that I'm pretty sure you guys have heard, but have our viewers heard of this? So, you know me. I've been hot on this guy named Aiden Hutchinson, pass rusher from University of Michigan, Go Blue. Up until today, he's been forecasted or favored to be the first overall pick. That has been challenged. He is no longer favored to go number 1 overall. It is none other than Georgia Trayvon Walker. Okay, it's kind of weird because when you talk about Trayvon Walker, when you look back at your notes, you're like, okay, this guy's good, but Thibodeau gets to the quarterback more, or even Johnson is a little more explosive in the line. And I get Walker. He's an outstanding dude. Had a great season over there in Georgia. Giant guy, and had a great combine. But are you really gonna pick him over Aiden Hutchinson?
I don't know, man. It's a stretch. From the talks that I hear, it's all attributes based why they're putting him above Hutchinson. He's got tremendous arm length, kind of like an offensive tackle, but he plays on the defensive side. So it gives him an advantage to push off of the tackles and guards that he plays against. But, just like you're saying, his stats don't show it. But, that's not really the position that he was there to play in Georgia. So I don't know why they have him as the first overall pick to possibly go, just because I don't see the Jaguars needing a one-player fit type of guy. They need a guy who's going to be bouncing all over the line like Nick Bosa. All those defensive ends and pass rushers and edge rushers, they can play anywhere. And that's what I think they're going to go with Hutchinson. But Trayvon Walker's a fast guy. Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of skills, but I just don't see him going number 1. And I think if he does, I think that's a bad pick by the Jags.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what they're going to do. Everyone has been predicting Aiden Hutchinson up until today when FanDuel put out their new odds for the draft. So they said they have Love Reed shirts. He's my fave. Thanks, Gabe.
It's not a shirt, it's a jacket.
Thank you, Gabriel. Appreciate it. But I don't know. There's no way they did this without having some type of information. This could potentially lose them millions of dollars. This change up, hundreds of thousands, probably not a million.
But would this surprise you if the Jaguars make this move? Would this really surprise you?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think you can pass up Aiden Hutchinson.
You can't.
He's been compared to be better than the Bosa brothers.
Not true. Okay.
What?
No, you cannot
I'm
pass
just-
up.
I'm-
You
I'm just
cannot
saying what
pass
people
up.
have
You
been saying.
cannot pass up on Aiden Hutchinson over here. Okay. Because basically, if you do, the Jaguars already came out and said, "There's no way we're getting another first round pick." Obviously, you guys just might because you guys had 2 first round picks back to back. And back to back. Okay, it might happen again if you don't pick Aiden Hutchinson. Not only are you going to get Trayvon Walker, but you're also going to be getting a fruit basket from the Detroit Lions saying thank you for making this big mistake. Now we got Aiden Hutchinson. We're not going to go QB anymore. And yes, like you were saying, he is. I don't think he's better than the Bosa Bros. Okay, there's no information. There's no anything out there to say
From
that
the
he's.
University of Michigan, though, man.
I know he's from the University of Michigan, and I love the University. Go Blue! You guys know me. I always root for them, but also, at the same time, I don't want to say this because I don't want to bash on my dude, okay? But he will not have had a successful year without Ojabu. I'm butchering that name, but the guy who lined up opposite of him he's in the draft. He's in this year's draft. He's a great pass rusher, and they're just both outstanding, which they both complement each other for him to be as successful. But at the same time, Aiden Hutchinson, I'm not just talking about his play style. I'm talking about his physical ability, his long arm span, his quickness, his ability to get to the quarterback as fast as he can. It does resemble, the Bosa brothers, the Watt brothers. He has that type of body style and that type of gameplay that could complement almost any defense. So if someone like the Jacksonville Jaguars were to get him, yeah, it's not the greatest organization. Yeah, it's not the greatest team, but is that a huge improvement to your defense? I believe so. I believe if they miss out on Aiden Hutchinson, they're going to regret it. They are. Whoever gets him, it's going to be a win, a huge win for them. And that's why he's the number 1 overall prospect to go in this draft.
So you're saying he's not better than the Bosa brothers?
As of right now, no, he is not. Not even close. Okay, you're talking about some Pro Bowl bad mother dudes out there in the NFL. Okay, those guys are getting paid.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I will tell you, if they honestly, I've talked to some of the members where I work at. If Aiden Hutchinson does not go number 1 overall, I'm going to make them lose a lot of money. But he has. Honestly, for me, it's like kind of like a no-brainer. Okay, right now the Jaguars, they came out 2 days ago and they said 3 days ago, have not received any offers for the number 1 overall pick. So trading down does not seem like that is probably going to happen. I'm pretty sure the day of the draft that just might happen. But as of right now, it is their pick, and if they screw it up, that franchise is going to be bad for another 5 years. It is going to be horrible. I'm not saying Trayvon Walker is a bad pick because he's a great pick, but you got to get the best player out there. You got the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
Don't
from what I've heard, that's what's being reported. Everyone basically in the top 10 would like to honestly trade back, but no one's willing to trade up. Everyone sees everyone very much on the same level as far as the first round. So yeah, their Jags probably would love to trade back. There's a lot of teams in the top 10 that would probably love to trade back, but it's just not going to happen because nobody wants to trade up.
Yeah, I mean, like I've said the past few episodes that we've had, I think it's gonna be so random in this first top 10 picks. I think last week I was saying like there might be almost all offensive line and some defensive players go. And then this week I'm switching back to it's going to be almost all defense and a few offensive tackles. It's just the way the week goes and how teams are saying it and how reporters are looking in on every team's positioning and how they're going to choose. Right now, we're as in the dark as everybody else is. We can have all of our theories and stuff like this, but overall, it's just going to be who's going to fall and who's going to rise. Who's going to shock who and who's going to mess up whose draft board. And that's why I think this week is really exciting. You may not see it in my face, but right now my senses are tingling and I'm like, who are we going to get at 9? Like who's going to drop to us? Who's going to steal someone that we want? And it's exciting. I'm not a part of the GM process over there in Seattle, but I'm excited to see how we either make this a great draft because we have so many picks, or how we screw it up again. So we'll see what happens. But I think it's just an interesting time in the season. It's going to be an interesting draft class. Just how Reed said, everybody's kind of stable in each position.
Says you look super excited.
Yeah, bro, I am.
I know Reed's super excited. I'm not excited. We don't have a first round draft pick.
Hey,
That's
bro,
okay. Hey, that's okay. That's all right, man.
I know how you can get one.
How, Reed?
trade
You
that.
gotta just trade Depot away, man. You can get a nice first round pick this year.
Trade Debo Array. You know what's actually interesting? A rumor came out saying that the New York Jets offered the Niners a 10th overall pick. Right now, Reed, you're the GM of the Niners. Do you accept that or do you deny it?
So going off of that, so around what Tyreek was traded for, all the picks add up to the 13th overall pick. So, and I think the Devontae Adams is around there also. So if you get offered the 10th overall pick, that's more than what the Chiefs
Right.
got for Tyreek. So that's honestly not too bad, in my opinion.
So are you accepting it?
I mean, I don't know because I'm not the GM of the 49ers. I have to know how unfixable is the relationship with Debo. Is he gonna has he actually threatened to sit out? You do have all the cards as if anybody's been listening to this podcast. AJ has very much told us that the 49ers hold all of the cards. Debo doesn't have a lot of leverage. Yeah, he can choose to sit out, but then he gives up so much, and this 49ers still hold onto his contract. So, yes, the 49ers have all the cards, but if you just want to be done with this problem, saying Debo's not worth the trouble, all the media attention, all the locker room problems that he's going to cause, a 10th overall pick is not bad. You can get a nicer replacement for Debo or fill in a spot in another spot of your roster.
Right. And it's not just, let's get rid of the problem. It's right now. This is his highest point of his trade value. We could get the most out of him right now. Even if he has an awesome year next year, like he did this year, this is the time to do it. It's just going to go downhill from here on out. But yeah, super excited. I had my mind on something. I was going to say something, but I don't know. It's kind of tough if you are the GM for the Niners, because he did come out and say today that he cannot see the 49ers parting ways with Deebo Samuel. Now, he did say that today.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it, as a GM, as a head coach, you say that kind of stuff. You don't reveal what you're actually thinking, what you want to do. I do know for a fact that the Niners love Deebo. I do know that they're going to try everything in their power to fix that relationship before they just can't. But do you think that maybe an offer comes up that is just so good, like too good to refuse? Do they take that offer, or do they still try to salvage that relationship with Deebo because he is that, quote unquote, that good?
It depends how good we're talking. I don't know. It's hard. Gabriel says trade for a first rounder next year. Next year's class is projected to be a lot expensive and better. That could be something they do, but I don't know. We're in a league that everyone wants to win now. You don't want to do everything to satisfy your fans because your fans aren't as thinking as longevity or thinking as a GM should. But there's going to be a lot of people upset with nothing coming in right now. But that is a good point. I do have heard that next year's draft class is a lot better. But yeah, back to the original question you said, AJ. If there's something that you just can't refuse, like let's say you get the first overall pick, the Jags want to trade the first overall pick. That's hard to turn down. How do you turn down the first overall pick for one player? I don't know, especially a player that's just not happy there.
Imagine that. Imagine the Niners go to the first overall pick for trading Deebo Samuel.
That's nuts.
And imagine having Nick Bosa and Aiden Hutchinson on opposite sides of the defense.
That's scary.
With Kinlaw in the middle or what?
With Kinlaw in the middle? Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
Jeez, you guys are getting me too excited here. But I know you guys have heard of a win-win situation, it's a win-win because you don't got to pay the guy, the other guy gets a big contract, you get to build for the future. But have you guys ever heard of a win-win-win situation?
Win?
Win situation.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
All right, last week on Thursday, I wrote to you guys. I'm putting up the receipts right here. Here's our messages, you guys. Our messages is, okay, guys, call me crazy, but what if ... The Panthers trade pick 6, 199, and a 2023 first and second round draft pick for Deebo Samuel and Jimmy G.
What was the say the draft picks again?
Number 6, 199,
Not
and
happening.
why?
Because it came out, it was reported today that the Panthers are not trading until after the first round.
Yeah, and also reported that the Panthers said, "Oh yeah, Sam Darnold's our starting quarterback," and he's like, "Oh, I should have said that." No,
but that's the dumb coach, and this is from Ian Rappaport, a very trustful source.
You're trusting Ian Rappaport over the organization of the Panthers?
Yes.
While Ian Rappaport's talking about the organization of the Panthers?
Yes.
So the Panthers came out tomorrow and said, you know what, we might explore different options. Because I was just listening to NFL Network right now, and Ian Rappaport said that there still might be options available for the Panthers still in this league. And he already did count out Baker Mayfield because the Panthers want no part of Baker Mayfield. So who are they talking about? They're talking about quarterback Jimmy G. And guess what came out today? Package deal, ? Niners, Panthers. Can you believe that? It's a win-win. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Reed. I don't think they trade away the 6th pick this year. They could trade away a pick next year because they're believing in themselves right now to build a team that's going to get better. So their draft pick next year, in their mind right now, is not going to be a top 10 pick because they think whoever they trade for, whoever they draft, they're going to get a lot better. They're hoping to stay healthy with the players that they have, and they want to start winning again. Because there was a season where the Panthers were really good, and everybody was like, "Oh, Panthers are making an upcoming." And I mean, after that season, it's been downhill since then. But they're looking to make a resurgence. So I agree with Reed. They trade from the second round of this year and beyond in order to secure a quarterback for the future or a wide receiver for the future. But I just don't see them trading away a number 6 pick when they can get a defensive or offensive line stud of the caliber that we have for this draft. Because don't get me wrong, there's a lot of freaks in this draft on the defensive line and the offensive line. There's a lot of attributes like arm length, hand size, even though there's been small hand things for the quarterbacks. These defensive line and offensive linemen are freaks of nature, man. There's just stuff that we haven't seen yet. There's 40-yard dashes that have broken records, speaking mostly on Trayvon from Georgia. But, I mean, there's a lot of guys out here that could fall and could rise. And at the number 6, you're sitting pretty to get one of those guys.
Okay. So I said what I said, right? That was last week. But can that trade still possibly happen? Scratch the picks. Okay, scratch it off. Can they possibly offer something to get a package deal with Jimmy G and Deebo Samuel? Would that be satisfactory or appealing to the Carolina Panthers and the staff for the Panthers? Because they're on thin ice right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If you scratch picks and we just go like players, I really don't think the Panthers have anybody that the Niners would want. So, I mean, for me, it all goes down to picks. That's all the capital that the Panthers have right now.
Yeah, they could trade their future away.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's why they're going to trade their future. They're not going to trade these picks. It's going to be future picks that they have no control of yet.
You know what the Panthers situation kind of reminds me of just a little bit? It reminds me of last year's Chicago Bears. Okay? The whole staff's on very thin ice. Matt Nagy was on very thin ice last year. And they move up on the draft to get this young QB named Justin Fields. And the fans loved it. The fans were awesome. Just by making that pick, that was supposed to secure his job. Okay, and then we go to the season. They didn't have an O-line to protect him. He was getting killed out there. They were force feeding Justin Fields, potentially ruining their future. So that pick, we all knew his job was on thin ice. He got a QB to potentially save that, career of his, and it did not work out. And that was a rookie QB. I feel the same way towards the Panthers coach. He's on thin ice. He needs to have a somewhat successful season, maybe a winning season, which shouldn't be too difficult in that division. You get a vet QB like Jimmy G, who, yeah, not amazing, but not horrible, but you could have a successful season with him going on. And then add an addition like Deebo Samuel. I think for me, it'll be very smart of them just to save their jobs, for the next 2 years if they pick that up. Because if they don't, like I told Reed, like I told both y'all in the group chat, that this will be the last season that they coach for the Carolina Panthers.
Well, you see, AJ, when you're a head coach in the NFL, there's always more opportunities, even if you get fired. Sometimes it's not a right fit with the organization that you're a part of at this point in time. We've seen the coaching carousel too many times already. Head coaches go to another place to be a head coach, or they drop down to be a DC for a winning team, or an offensive coordinator for a winning team. So the opportunities are plentiful. I don't think that I forget their coach's name right now. Is it Matt Rule?
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt Rule. If he gets fired here, he's probably going to get a job somewhere else. And if it's not in the NFL, it's going to be in one of these USFL teams, somewhere else where he's still going to get paid. So right now, I think his smartest move is to stay true to the Panthers because he's a part of the Panthers organization right now, and he's going to try to make them better for the future. So he's not going to be selfish, even though his job and the GM's job are on the line. You have to stick to the organization. That's what they pay you for. That's what you're there for. If you get fired the next year, you did your job while you were there. So they can't make any complaints on you. They can't say, oh, this guy's all about himself. He's only here for the money. He's only here to secure his job, and he doesn't care about the organization. So I think that's how you have to think about it. You're getting paid all this money. That's what they want you to do. I think he should do that. And that's why I think that they're going to go with the safe pick, either defensive line or offensive tackle.
In my opinion, for what I've especially seen today, what the 49ers organization has said, that they're not going to just give these two players away for nothing. They said they're not just going to give away Jimmy G just if the deal's not right. They will keep him on the team if needed. Same thing with Debo. If the deal's not like amazing and something they're actually interested in, they're not gonna do it. They want to keep Debo. So for them to trade both Debo and Jimmy G in a package deal, what would have to be offered to them would have to be insane. I just don't think that the Niners, the Panthers are going to offer what they actually what the Niners would actually accept. I don't think they have the draft capital or were willing to give up the draft capital they'll have to in order to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we just had AJ leave for some unforeseen reasons, but I agree with you, Reed. I think the Niners are smart. They're not going to get something that is beneficial to them because right now, just as the 49ers hold all the cards on the Debo stuff with either trade or signing him, they hold all the cards with trading him and Jimmy G away. So if the Panthers are willing to do trade talks, it's going to be, what do the Niners have to gain? We're giving you two players that have proven themselves. If you're just going to give us draft picks, we want high draft picks that we know we're going to get some quality from. So, I mean, that just like how you always say in previous months and previous years, even when we talked NFL before we made this podcast, you say draft picks are not solidified. You don't know who you're going to get. You don't know who's going to fall to you. You don't even know if they're going to stay in the NFL past the year that you draft them. So trading for players that have solidified their name and their likeness here in the NFL, along with stats and tenure and prestige, I think trading away players that have made a name for themselves currently is a lot more valuable than the picks that they could end up getting. So it would have to be a tremendous deal, in my opinion. Not something like the Russell Wilson trade, because Russell Wilson is a freak of nature compared to Jimmy G, but it's going to have to be high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if we are talking about the Panthers, what they're going to do next year as far as quarterback wise, I know that there's been multiple reports about how they're not apparently not interested in Baker, but I still see Baker as their best option at forward quarterback. They right now Baker's value is way lower than it actually should be. If we're talking a year ago when he led his team to the playoffs and they had a bottom 10 defense, his draft value is a lot higher, and now or his trade value. And then now that since he played bad when he was injured last year, and now everyone thinks he's way worse than I honestly think he is. I just don't see. I see someone being able to draft or trade for Baker and get a great deal for him, a great deal from that. And I think that's the Panthers' best option. Now, whether they do that or not, that's up to them. There's been reports that they're not going to do that, but in my opinion, that's their best option. You can trade a second or third round pick and probably get them.
Yeah, and I mean, I would hope that just how you're saying that it'd be a smart move for the Panthers, I think the Seahawks should do the same thing. I like Baker. I didn't agree with your statement about the 40-8 thing this past season, but
I was wrong.
yeah, it's hard to do that at any rate for a quarterback, even the MVP, Mr. Rogers. But he gets it done year in and year out. But he's totally different than Baker. I just think there's a lot of teams still out there that need a replacement quarterback or an option to have out there on the bench in case something doesn't go right. But yeah, I think Baker's good. Oh, Baker over Watson, Gabriel says. I don't know about that. Both personality wise or or skill wise, but Watson is a good quarterback, but Baker is also a good quarterback. They just have different skill sets. And I mean, I would trade for Baker, even because he's seeming like he's a loyal player. He wanted to play there in Cleveland his whole career. He wanted to be their guy. He wanted to lead them to the promised land because the Browns haven't done it in a long time. But I mean, I think Baker's a loyal guy. He is a little shaky here and there with his emotions, but just like any quarterback, they have really big personalities. It's just an organization thing, whether they like that or not.
Last thing I'll say on the Baker thing: if Aaron Rodgers decided to play somewhere else this year, yeah, there's a few other quarterbacks I would be interested more in than Baker. But Baker would be someone I would definitely be interested in, especially now if we didn't have a quarterback. If I'm the Packers GM and I didn't have a quarterback right now, I'm either looking at Jimmy G or Baker. And in my opinion, I'm gonna get Baker for less trade value. And yeah, Jimmy G may potentially play better, but it's all about what you get for him. You know, what you trade away for him.
How's it going there, AJ?
AJ, what's your thoughts?
Oh, I'm just running back seat, man. I like the way y'all talk. It's great. Yeah, I think you guys are awesome. I don't agree about Baker though.
Okay.
I don't like him. I do agree that he's probably worth a little more than Jimmy G just because of his age. You know, he's still on that contract. He's a little cheaper, and his play ain't all that bad. It ain't. Very comparable to Jimmy G. I just don't like him as a person. He's kind of a distraction to me, you know? I feel like it was his fault why they lost OBJ. I don't care if it was his dad or OBJ's dad or not. Baker didn't do anything to defend him. And then I look back, I did a little bit of research, and I know you guys don't have to agree with me here. I look back, did some research. All his old past head coaches say, oh man, he's a team guy. He's great on the field, works harder than everyone else, and wants to succeed. But as soon as he hits that downfall, he loses it. He loses his wits, everything. As soon as he heard this whole trade for Watson, he was done. He was out. He was done on the team. He quit on the team. And that kind of stuff, I don't like, you know? And I could say this and that about Jimmy G, but the amount of respect I have for him for the 49ers trading their whole future away to get this young QB, even though Jimmy G has taken them to the Super Bowl, and him keeping his cool and taking us to the NFC Championship, that's a QB I would like to follow. You know, that's a QB I would like to lead in the locker room. Not a guy who's not, how would I say, mentally mature in that aspect to be a leader, because you could be a talented QB, and a QB is probably one of the most important positions on the field, probably is. But if you're not smart or you're unable to be a leader on that team, then I don't think it's worth it.
Okay.
That's me. As an athlete, I think he's incredible. I think he did a lot of great things for the Cleveland Browns, and I feel like he could do that somewhere else. But from the reports, Panthers don't want him because he already lost that. He doesn't have that locker room there. No, players are not interested in having someone like him. They rather ride or die, or not. Sorry, they rather ride with Sam Darnold or even Cam Newton. He's just a distraction, and once he throws a tantrum, once something doesn't go his way, then he throws a tantrum. So he needs to fix himself before he can move on. All I'm saying.
Very true.
The only thing I'll say on that, I think a lot of things you said are true, AJ. I definitely agree with the comparisons between him and Jimmy G on how they handled themselves. The way Jimmy G did it is like textbook perfect. The way you want a guy to respond to a situation like that. But I kind of feel like you're what's the word? Like overstating, or I don't know what the word is, of like Baker's actual his leadership and stuff like that, or how he reacted to it. I don't think it was perfect, but I don't think it's as bad as you're making it seem. Yeah.
How is that, or why is that?
I think what Reed's trying to say is there's a lot of stuff that he does behind the scenes that we don't hear about, and once you have like one or two, maybe even three slip-ups, because Baker hasn't been perfect all his career in the NFL or in college. He had that instance where he was on the middle of the field. I forgot who he was playing, but he got their flag and he slammed it down on their emblem right there at the 50-yard line, caused a big old ruckus. That's just the desire to win and be competitive. But then he came to the NFL, and now he is having all these tantrums here and there. But that's what reporters want everybody to see. They want to see the drama. They want to see, oh, what's wrong with this guy? Well, how can we make the big headline because we're making this guy seem like he's worse than he is? And I think that has to do with a lot of players now in the NFL, and that's kind of the nature of social media along with professional sports. It's how can we destroy these guys, their name, and kind of, to lack of a better statement, spit on it. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying Baker's the perfect guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, and I know you're not either. But sometimes we have to see past all the mirrors and all the smoke, smoke and mirrors and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, no, and I do believe he deserves another chance out there at another team, but it's hard to see that it's going to happen this year. Same situation with Jimmy G. I feel like it won't happen unless a playoff contending team's QB goes down with a bad injury. Then those guys have to step up. Then they will get traded to a team, and probably for only a year. But I do feel I would love to see Baker get another opportunity, another chance to be a leader at a team.
I just pulled up his that post he put out there when this whole Deshaun Watson trade was like, it didn't happen yet, but the Browns were the contenders for it. And I looked at it, and it's honestly not bad at all what he put out. Like, the only thing in here is just how thankful he is to the fans, how much he loves the fans, how much he loves Cleveland. Never says anything about the trade. Never says anything about the organization. He just says he loves the fans, and whatever happens, I still love Cleveland. That's not a bad statement to put out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think AJ's argument is just why he put it out. He made it a scene because of all that stuff, and I think that's how AJ looks at it. Because I see it the same way too. I just think like, oh, he's showing his passion. He's showing his love for the town and everything that they've done for him on the organization and everything. But now it's going in a different direction, and he doesn't like it. So he put that statement out, and it kind of brought a lot of attention to him. And, when attention comes to you when you're on a big stage like the NFL, it's not always good and it's not always bad. You get the mix of both, and usually the bad will overtake the good.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not against the guy. I'm not.
I really hope he still goes to the commercials from the stadium, though.
That's a big waste of money, man. I can't. That's the first thing I thought of when Deshaun was traded to Cleveland. I was like, damn, those commercials. I actually enjoyed them.
Yeah.
They were funny. But man, that's a shame. But yeah, I don't think Baker. I think Jimmy G has a higher chance at getting moved in this draft than Baker does. But I don't think either of those guys will be getting moved in this draft. Jimmy probably not even be night one. It'll probably be night 2 or 3. Debo has a pretty big chance of getting moved, and I'm nervous. I never watched the draft that the Niners don't have a first round pick, but I'm watching every single pick just because I'm nervous that the Niners are going to trade someone to get there. It's going to be I'm going to be full of anxiety that day. It's going to be great. I love it. But
yeah, that's what football does to us.
Yeah, it does. Before we head out, I do want to talk about one more guy. I want to see in y'all's eyes if he will be worth it mid-draft, early draft, or even early first round. Sorry, not draft, first round. Talking about Jameson Williams. Some still have him as their number 1 wide receiver in this draft. That's tough because he's not going to be able to play for half a year or maybe even longer. But I'm talking about the wide receiver from Alabama. Awesome year, was tore his ACL, championship game, but arguably probably the best wide receiver in the draft class, healthy. What do you guys think?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard because when you're coming off an injury like that, medical stuff and all the therapeutic kind of stuff that goes into it has progressed for an ACL tear, and I'm pretty sure it was only an ACL that he tore. But he's a skinny dude. I mean, I'm not big and bulky to play in the NFL myself, but I'm just talking as a fan. I don't know if he's gonna stay healthy enough once he gets to the NFL. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are just as skinny as him that play in the NFL, but they're not the biggest stars. The only other guy I can think of is Jefferson from the Vikings. He's a stud, but it's because of he's quick and he didn't come off an injury coming into the NFL. So I think he's going to be good. I think it's very risky to pick him as the number 1 wide receiver right now in the draft, just because you're going to have to wait for him to progress. Thank you, Gabriel. Gabriel says I look like DK, and sometimes I wish I did. But yeah, man. I mean, I just think it's a risk, and I think he's going to fall only because of that mishap of tearing his ACL at one of the biggest stages in college football. Sad, but true.
Yeah. Maybe the Packers could get him.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It all depends on how his rehab is going. I imagine any team that actually wants to draft him has done a lot of research on that and has asked him on like how it's going, asked his doctors or whoever is his rehab people.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
But it all depends on his rehab. Players come back just the same from ACL tears. Some people never come back the same.
The thing about receivers, rookie wide receivers, is that they have the biggest, like the fastest upside. As soon as they get drafted, if they're good, they're good. It translates very well in the NFL. And I mean, if you look at this past year, I mean, we talk about Jamar Chase all the time, but look at people like Justin Jefferson, look at people like DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, all very young wide receivers and almost instant success in the NFL. Some of them have instant success. It mainly depends on the quarterback, but it's fun when you see a wide receiver get drafted. Deebo Samuel was drafted in the 2nd round. You know, DK was drafted, 2nd, 3rd round back there.
Mm-hmm.
Because DK, so it's just fun and exciting. You never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates, right? It's just super exciting. So I'm expecting like Jameson Williams to have a tremendous upside whenever he does get healthy, and just for funsies. I can't say the other things I want to say, but let's say the Packers do get Jameson Williams, right? And Aaron Rodgers would stick it out to next year. Imagine the combination of Aaron Rodgers and a young, talented wide receiver like Jameson Williams if he comes back 100% healthy and the playing like he was playing this past year in the college. I mean, that would be amazing. That would be great. Jeez, you have another Devontae Adams right there. Then Jordan Love comes out. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back the following year, Jordan Love is the next Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Jeez, man.
3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in a row.
Yeah. Only wish, right, Reed?
Yeah.
Nah, Love's getting traded in the draft.
Yeah. We're putting him in Seattle.
Not bad. Hey, that's not bad. I would love to see Love in Seattle. Oh, love to see Love. Oh, Vince don't want him. He want no part of that.
Get that boy out of here.
Dude, you can honestly get Love for like what? Maybe anywhere between a 4th to a 6th.
For a Lockett.
4. Oh, okay. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about Lockett.
No.
Why are we gassing up Green Bay? Because Green Bay is supposed to get gassed, man. They're a freaking awesome team. As long as Aaron Rodgers is on that team, just like Seattle Seahawks. Well, what like used to be Seattle Seahawks. As long as Russell Wilson is there, someone like Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be great. They're going to be great. And last year might not have been the greatest year for Seattle, but that's something you've never seen before, And I don't see that happening with Green Bay. They're going to be great, unless Jaguars pass up on Aiden Hutchinson.
We'll see, man. The draft is gonna be crazy. I've said it week in, week out. It's gonna shape the NFL. Even though this draft class hasn't been the most talented in some areas, I still think it's gonna shake up what's going on.
Oh, Israel's getting gassed up himself. He says, "Can't wait for the live on Monday." Read. Nestor's chiming in too.
Oh,
we're gonna prep this up. Israel versus Reed show. Ooh, should be fun. All right, guys. You guys have anything else?
No.
Nah, man.
Awesome, you guys. Yeah, today was a little lengthy one, but that's okay. Next week should be a lot of fun. The draft is right around the corner. Read over Israel. There you go. We got some truthers over here.
Ooh.
But yeah, if you guys are interested, you guys let us know if you guys want to give us your feedback about the draft, and we'll work something out. So let us know if you want to be part of it. But until next time, you guys keep on grinding. Thank you all so much for being here.